Hey, y'all doing all right? I'm doing all right. I'm glad you asked. Y'all always ask. Y'all are nice people. Listen, today I was minding my own business. I took a nap, and I actually haven't had dinner yet. And I was getting all these messages about TD Jakes and this medical emergency in the pulpit. And then I just wanted to spend a few minutes to talk to y'all. Maybe see if we could bring some sense to the chaos that's out there today. I'll see you in about 60.
You good. You good. You good. You good. Don't stop it.
Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones.
He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones.
Sirwalterj Jones.
Report live, 7 days a week, always on time, but his time is not free. Sirwalterj Jones, always on sleep. Latest trending topics had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the weekend edition, baby. Come on in. Water's fine. How y'all is? Bunkers, y'all doing all right? Delight, April, Clifford, Belinda, Sonia, Tina, Nicole, Roberta, Veronica, a whole bunch of y'all are here. Listen, it's a Sunday night. It's typically a movie night around 9. We're going to do about 9:15 tonight. And I was minding my own business and trying to eat my curds and whey this afternoon. And I started getting these videos about TD Jakes. Now, I'm a realist. This is not just a teaching channel, but I am a realist. I'm also a very patient man, and there are people who will typically come on and in the chat, and you will start hearing them say, hurry up, get to all of the dirt. You might want to leave now. This is not a dirt channel. We talk about stuff. We've done the TD Jakes shows. We've done a few of them. Whenever he got into something, we would try to bring some intelligence, bring some adults to the room, and we talk about these issues, and then we will pray for him, and then we move on. You understand? And then we go on, we talk about more things that might affect you as a total person, the total man, the totality of the tripart of a man, mind, body, body, soul, and spirit. It's the tripart of a man, and all three of those need to be taken care of. So in Sirwalterj Jones Show, we talk about finances and relationships and the Bible, and sometimes politics come up, and we talk about everything. So I'm not a heretic chaser, and so you don't come over here to hear every day about somebody that I'm getting ready to undress, or they undress themselves in public, and so now I got to undress them. That's just not this show, and it's one reason why our channel might be small, because we focus more on something that will help us all in every aspect of our life, not just some national inquirer want to know. So that's why in the chats you hear people saying, hey, get on with it. Those are the people who are digging for dirt. They're bottom dwellers. Walk away from them as much as you can. If you got friends like that who likes to dig in the bottoms, birds of a feather. And let me just say that. As it pertains to TD Jakes, the problem I see here is not so much the Jakes situation as it is the people who are onlookers, because we all became prophets. You see, we predict things, and then we also think that we're prophets. And many people ran over to Celestial, because Celestial was talking about just last year, or was it last year, that Jakes is going to meet his demise or something like that. And everybody went over there looking to see, maybe celebrating her, what have you. It's going to come true, even though there was a whole bunch of false prophecies that she made. I look at it as the Brian song carnality effect, I call it, was where you could make a prophecy and you have an opportunity to be 50% right, 50% wrong. And so we like to dive deep into the spiritualities of stuff. When a hurricane, a tornado, a tsunami, which America don't really get, or some kind of event that happens in nature, automatically the saints go right to the spirituality that God is punishing America. God is punishing America. We have to bring that answer in, because it does something for us. It solves problems that maybe we have. All right, it settles the disputes that's in our brains, and then we share it with other brains, and then we all travel, tea, kumbaya, what have you, and then we move on to the next spiritual matter. When the scriptures did say that first is natural, is not first natural, and then spirit. I have seen actually a couple people die in the pulpit. Why? Yeah. Yeah, Joyce Sample. I remember being a young man, and the man was preaching in the pulpit. He preached like a crazy man, and then he sat down and he died. The people didn't know that he died, but he just sat there, slumped over. We thought he was asleep, and we continued. The choir sang, and they collected an offering, and the man was dead in the pulpit. And it wasn't until at the end of the service when they asked him to do the ending prayer, and there was no movement in that man. All right. I seen another man die in the pulpit. He get through preaching so hard, and then he's gone. We saw Marvin Winans slurring in his speech a couple weeks ago, and then he falls out. We saw Bishop Sheard, the presiding bishop of the Church of God in Christ, a couple years ago, was preaching at the convention hall, and he got dizzy, and the men caught him before he fainted. We have a lot of medical emergencies that happen while a person is either up speaking to the public. There are some grooms who fainted while during a marriage or wedding ceremony. One of the problems with black men is that we definitely do not take good care of ourselves. Now, is that my answer for what happened to Jakes? I don't know what happened to him. I can't make prophecies, or we can do is just maybe make predictions or guesstimates, or we bring in our own whatever. Unless the Lord tell you what it is, why are you all searching all over the place trying to figure out what happened? Because the number one reason by the public why he had this medical emergency was based off of P. Diddy. Everybody went there, and I looked back and I just watched and saw the chats and the comments and many of the YouTubers, and I said, here we go. Here it is. Predictors. We are prophets. And we're so good at it that many of these predictors and prophets don't know the scriptures, never read it. But all of a sudden we have this amazing gift of prophecy to say that God was dealing with this man, punishing this man for his actions, or, going to or hanging out with P. Diddy, what have you. And the other side was saying that T.D. Jakes was stressed because what he did maybe with Diddy is going to leak out, and so it affected him in the pulpit. All kind of things, all kind of stuff. I think the focus needs to be on the health of a man of God. Jakes and I don't agree. His theology don't line up with mine. A lot of it do, and unfortunately, a lot of it do not. And just like many of you don't agree with a lot of my theologies. All right? And it doesn't matter. This man was made in the image of God, and if I don't have the heart of God to pray for a man like that, then something is wrong with me. Preaching is extremely difficult. And one of the reasons why James said that we would that not too many become teachers. Why? Because you'll be held to a stricter judgment. So judgment comes into the house of God first, and then it goes out. Jesus dealt harshly with the Pharisees. Why? Because they should have known better. But when he talked to people who were, people on the street, or just, normal people, some who believed and others didn't believe, he was more compassionate. But whenever he talked to the Pharisees, he was extremely hard. Why? Because we are held to a stricter judgment. We should not be over people, especially if we did not come through the gate or through the door, who Jesus is. We came through the side and what have you, and somebody made men or women very popular. And now they're popular. They have thousands of members, and they don't even know the scriptures. Now, I'm not speaking of Jakes per se, but I'm speaking in general. And so then comes the responsibility of keeping that gig up. I'm calling it a gig. Keeping that gig up. And you have to keep that gig up. And save face. Never let them see you sweat. You've got to always show your best hand. You got to dress your best. And let me tell you, it's hard. And I believe that most of my uncles were pastors. And I've said this on the show a few times, that I believe that their health got worse because they were pastors. My problem with pastoring is imbalance. I appreciate my brother Rodney Jones, who pastors a church, which is a full-time job. He retired from his regular job and he works in ministry full-time. He shoots videos all week long. He's pastoring at his church and getting those 2 and 3 a.m. calls, and he have to leave his wife to take care of one of the members, what have you. That is a rough job. It doesn't matter how big your church is or how small it is. You understand? So he takes a lot of vacations. He takes vacations. And he should take as many vacations as you need to. Those are not your people. Those are God's people. And you may need to shut it down. You understand? You may need to just shut it down. And take care of you and take care of your family. You understand? Take care of you and take care of your family. Brothers, if you are elders, ministers, pastors, bishops, apostles, you need to sit your butt down. Go away. You're not married to those people. Those people are not your bride. If you married, you got a bride. You can't be calling them your bride. That's somebody else's bride. You understand? So you go on vacations, take breaks, let somebody else preach. And this is why the scriptures mention the presbyters in plural. Elders are plural, not one. And when one man is trying to lead that many people, this is why when Moses went out to meet he got married and then he was talking to his father-in-law. His father-in-law, was changed by the ministry of Moses. He was converted. The father-in-law comes back and see what Moses is doing. There's 2 million people at the time that the children of Israel come out of Egypt. About 2 million people, maybe not counting, I don't know, it's average, Dad. And Moses' father said to Moses, you are a fool. Because he was seeing that Moses was trying to handle everything in that kingdom. And he says, no, you're going to kill yourself. You need to set up captains. You need to set up these leaders here to take care of this many people. This leader take care of this many people. And this leader here set up this, take care of these many people, and then he says, you take care of the weightier matters that may affect the whole kingdom. The church is killing you, and you allowing it. Thank you for the super chat, Jackson. The church, brothers, is killing you, and you are allowing it, and you're putting your wife through distress. And the wife needs to protect her husband by making sure that he is eating properly. If she's cooking for him, she needs to cook properly to preserve his life. Get him up and get him to walking, get him some exercise in, and y'all take breaks, take vacations, because it's not just about the body, but it's about the mind. I talked about that tripart. Well, and as it pertains to that soul and that spirit, well, we talking about this mind now, because the body is just a shell. But the mind needs proper health, proper mental health. And the mental health subject matter is not being talked about in the church because you all call it taboo. You don't talk about mental health. And Mother Mayhem is crazy as a bat. But y'all look at her as speaking in tongues and do other stuff. You're saying that's the Holy Ghost. No, she is crazy. She has a mental illness. She is bipolar. She's schizophrenic. She's something. And somebody didn't diagnose her properly, or y'all, because you don't believe in mental health or mental therapy, you can't diagnose her. So you spiritualize Mother Mayhem, but she crazy. You understand? So somebody need to be bold enough and need to start at the top, and y'all need to take her and let her lay on the couch and let somebody with a license talk to her, because she's got problems at home. Something happened when she was young. She might have been touched inappropriately by a family member or something like that, and she never dealt with that, never. And then she went to her mama, and mama says, no, that didn't happen to you. No, you didn't. You was walking around here, sashaying, your skirt was too short, and you lured that man, my boyfriend, you lured him on, and then mama didn't believe or stuff like that. She come up with some excuses, and this girl go through life with that mess, and then she began to lay with a whole bunch of kind of people, just to mask this stuff, and then she becomes the mother of that church. She becomes the evangelist. She becomes the missionary. She might be the first lady. All right. And then she is bringing all her problems into that church. And many first ladies divide the church. Many churches have been split because who the pastor married. This is a mental, stressful position to be in. And I don't wish it on nobody. You understand? So we can predict what happened to him. We can prophesy or prophesy what happened to him, all this stuff. All I saw up there was a man who was under stress. And he might have overheated. I don't know. Y'all saying it was a stroke. Y'all saying it might have been all this stuff. Listen, I don't know what it was. But it looked like to me that the man was just overstressed. He's overstressed, overheated, and I believe that he's going to be okay. This is what I believe. I think he's going to be all right. He's going to be back in that pulpit. He's going to explain what happened, and he's going to go back, wash, rinse, and repeat. But the way we respond to stuff like this is absolutely ridiculous. Because what we're going to do is put him back in the pulpit and continue. Just continue. And you need to look at Marvin Winans, T.D. Jakes, and whoever else fainted in the pulpit, and you need to go talk to your pastor. You need to look at this. Instead of trying to figure out what P. Diddy's behind is doing, you need to be looking at this as a message of, let me go see about my pastor if you got one. If you got one, go talk to your pastor. All right? Are you okay? Are you eating? Are you exercising? And if you got the Holy Spirit, if you got discernment, the discerning of spirits, you can tell if he's lying or not. And he was sitting there, and as he was praying for the people, it looked like it was some type of dismissal prayer. His energy was so drained. His wife should have just said, all right, your job is over. Your job is over. Let somebody, all these elders are there, let somebody else do this. Take him back to the office or take him home. Take him home. I'm so sick of you pastors think that you can do everything. Micromanage, you got your hand in everything. And this is why so many men have died, because they are overstressed and they have these aneurysms and they stroke. They have heart attacks and all these things. One reason is because there is already an existing problem in their bodies. And we found that out during the pandemic about the existing problems. We found out that y'all ain't as healthy as you thought you were, because that virus came and killed a whole lot of people, and it killed the people who were already sick. And I can't tell y'all how many times I have gone to the doctor. Thank God somebody finally got me off my little skinny behind and told me to go to the doctor. And I went and got a colonoscopy. I went and got, I was violated. All right. The man said, all right, sir, take your pants off or pull your pants down. Oh, I knew it was coming because I went there for that. He says, have you had this check? I said, no. Have you had that check? No. When the last time you been in the hospital? I said, years. He said, oh, okay, what do you want? I said, head to toe. I said, check me out. I'm almost 60. I've got 3 grandchildren. And I really want to live a longer life. I bought 3 bikes. I bought 2 bikes, actually. Very expensive ones at that. And all summer long, I was riding, got a membership at LA Fitness. And man, I'm working out. All right. I'm drinking more water. I says, but I can do all that, but I need to know what's inside. I can't see what's inside. So I need you to violate me. And that's the only time I'm going to ever tell a man to violate me. He the only one I know. He called himself a doctor. Violate me. So he took out his glove. It wasn't white, but it was close. He stretched it, put his hand in there, all right? And he said, pull it down, sir. You came here to be violated. This is what I do. I violate people. And he did that, and I bent on down, and he went on in, and he searched. And thank God, his searching found nothing. But he says, you need to drink more water, sir. Oh, I moaned. A little grown there, because, that's an outer. Stuff's supposed to go out. Stuff not supposed to go in. But I had to go there because I just needed somebody to look at my insides. Is this too much for y'all? Are y'all too holy for this? Well, some of you brothers who are watching this, I think you better be listening to me, because the clock is ticking in your life. Ballsman, and what's his name? Bozeman? Wakanda Forever, he taught us a valuable lesson. That man was shrinking in front of us on television. Shrinking. And people started laughing at him because he looked like death. And they're like, boy, you need to eat something. Look at you. You see it. And they was making memes and all kind of stuff, not realizing that man was dying. And then what happened? He dies. And then all of a sudden, the ones who was laughing was crying. They were crying. We didn't know. He should have blah, 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 blah. And Bozeman almost single-handedly had a whole bunch of black men at the doctor getting the their colons checked and what have you. I was one of them today. Not Bozeman, is it? Yeah, Bozeman, right? Chatwick. I was one of them today. Thank you. He became a sacrificial lamb for many of us, all right? Because you can't keep blaming the women for that. Men are stubborn, and their women want them to go to the doctor, but men are like, nope. And they finally get to the doctor after they can't walk no more. They can't breathe, or something's going on in their bodies where they now, instead of walking to the hospital or getting driven to the hospital during the speed limit, they're going to the hospital in a truck. In a truck. With the sirens going like that. You don't ever want to go to the hospital with that in that thing. You just don't want that. You want to go planned out. You scheduled an appointment. That's the way you want to go. And so, brothers, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Just an ounce. An ounce. So I found out just getting up and leaving this desk and walking around is an ounce of prevention. Drinking a cup extra of water is an ounce of prevention. It's an ounce of prevention. Doing breathing exercises is an ounce of prevention. Parking far away from the door at Walmart and walking to the door is an ounce of prevention. Getting proper sleep, going to bed earlier at night is an ounce of prevention, which is worth more than a pound of cure. You understand? And it will cost you less to do an ounce of prevention. The pound of cure is expensive. And if you don't have any insurance, God help you. You understand? And then there's life insurance, which a lot of black men don't have. I know pastors who don't have life insurance. I will never understand that. Now, if you can afford to die and leave your children some kind of inheritance, then you don't need life insurance. Life insurance for people who are not ready to leave their families an inheritance. All right. And so you have life insurance for that. But it's not a forever thing. Don't let nobody talk you into that. If you can afford it, then you don't really need it. Now, some people can afford it to die, and then they still hold on to life insurance because that's double indemnity in a sense, okay? And then have them both, fine. But you don't even have that. You don't even have that. So Jake's had an emergency. I think he's okay. But I look at everything as I ask God a question. Every time something like that happens, I say, hey, God, what lesson should I learn from that situation? And what lesson can I give my community debunkers from what just happened on that television? What did I learn? How should I apply this to my life? And I look at people's lives as an inductive study opportunity. Inductive study is observe, interpret, correlate, and apply. And I observed that. And I said to myself when I saw him slumped over like that, hey, bro, go to the refrigerator and drink an extra cup of water. Get up, walk around. When's the last time you been to the hospital, to the doctor, not the hospital, but the clinic or what have you? When's that, do some self-evaluation because you just don't want a whole bunch of folks crying. They crying because you dead, and they crying because you got no insurance either. You crying, and they crying because then when you do die, you got no life insurance. Now they got to do a GoFundMe to bury you. People, we got to take this a little more serious. I know you all are fighting in the chats. I know there are people who are hating on me and hating on you in the chats. And if you notice, I am ignoring them because a lot of times when content creators read chats and read the dismay, it disrupts the flow of the message, and people get caught up in the message, and you start fighting with people in chats. When the Lord didn't call you to do a whole bunch of fighting, do the message. And Jesus told the disciples that if you go to the house and they don't receive the message, what did he tell them to do? He didn't tell them to keep fighting. No, you all keep fighting, folks, and then you find yourself not having good mental health because you stressed out. And that's why they said that whenever somebody cuts you off on the road, you're driving down expressway, ignore the cutoff. Because as soon as you go honk, honk, and roll down the window, you already in trouble. You've already fell victim of road rage once you do that. And then anything could happen from that moment on once you give in to road rage is a sickness. It's a disease in itself. It's a mental anguish and stress. And you don't want to ever fall victim of that. You understand? And so Jesus told him to wipe the dust from your feet and move on to the next house. Y'all stressed out about nothing. You are arguing with people you will never meet. I will never meet these people who don't like me in the chat. I could care less if I meet them or not. But I do care about them because when they are led astray, whatever this hatred and vitriol that's inside of them, I pray for their health, meaning spiritual health, because the reason why I'm bringing it that way, because the scriptures mention sin, sickness. Because sin is a sickness. So some of these people who are going after you, they're only sin sick. And so you have to pray that they are healed. Rage. All right? Exercise in anger. So you got to be careful. So we're going to pray for Bishop Jakes and his wife, his children, and his family, that he is well. I believe that he's going to be okay, but I also hope that somebody in that church take notice of what happened and set him down. Set him down. And get some help. Because if he is not healthy, then our lives are cut short. Because a man may not die, but a man can still be alive and can't operate. Well, it's almost like, what's the purpose of living, people say. If I'm alive, but I can't operate. I can't operate in the gift that God gave me because I'm so sick that I can't minister to people. Well, Elizabeth, and take me now. Might as well just go. And this is why a lot of men, I'm talking about men right now, it applies to women as well. You know, a lot of men retire off their jobs. And guess what? A lot of them die. Right after they retire. They die. My father retired off his job. He's a carpenter. And I knew he couldn't just not do nothing. He retired. That didn't last long. He got himself back out in that street and was doing little jobs. We didn't allow him to go out there and do what he was doing before, no. So he was doing little jobs. Why? Because he needed mobility. He needed something mentally. He did not want to, and we didn't want him to sit in a rocking chair and rock his life away doing nothing because he's now retired. And we didn't want him, working because he couldn't afford not to retire. Or my father, we made sure he can afford. He can afford to retire. But mentally, he couldn't afford that, especially after my mother died. So he needed to do something to keep him going. And what did my father do? He got on the airplane and he started flying all over the place. He got in his car. He started driving all over the place. He went visiting families and going here and going there. He hardly ever home. He just go. He is enjoying the second part of his life, which will be shorter than that first part. You understand? And his health fails him. He has pains in his body. He's got, arthritis in his hands. It pains him, things like that. And you can see the stress on him. He's 82. He's stressful. Body, physical stress. But my father is a bull. He bullheaded. And I believe the bullheadedness is keeping him alive. And so he gets out and do things. We need to take care of our own. you down there at the Potter's house, if you're listening to me, I am not going to be that guy who destroy your pastor because of this whole scandal stuff that's going around. No, that's not me. The Sirwalterj Jones Show cares about your pastor. And even though we may disagree theologically, I believe that he could be a great teacher and pastor for you. If maybe he would rethink some of his teachings, I believe he could be a better pastor and teacher. I do believe that. But outside of us, he and I disagreeing on theological issues, he is a man made in God's image. And because you call him your pastor, you got to take care of him and better care of him. And I'm praying that there are other elders and ministers at that church who could, because one of the problems, I had to stop myself right there. One of the problems in the church is like politics, identity politics. You all voted for Kamala because she was a woman. You really voted for her because she was a black woman. Identity politics voted for Donald Trump because he was a white man. You understand? A lot of men didn't vote for Kamala because she was a woman, so they didn't vote for her. So a vote for one was a vote against another. It's all kind of aspects on there, all right? So all of you, and I don't care who you are, I like to step on y'all's toes. I like to pee y'all off. So I throw a wide net, and if you scream, that means it affected you. All of y'all is identity politics. Well, in the church, it's all about personality. It's a personality-based ministry. If you knew that your pastor wasn't going to be at church Sunday, you don't come because you don't accept any other ministers who were called to do the same job he was doing, but because you like him and he not coming to church on Sunday, so you won't come. That is identity ministry. And a whole bunch of y'all are guilty of that. A whole bunch of y'all are guilty of that. And it's a shame that during an altar call, you got all those ministers up there, but you can't let none of them pray for me. I want pastor to pray for me. That is a problem. And who set that up? Well, that man set it up, and then you fell for it. And this is why the apostles were on one same plane. They all were one. One was not over the other. They all. Jesus chose 12 disciples and 12 apostles who were on the same level. One was not greater than the other. And then Paul had the nerve to say, I'm worse. I'm a slave, and I'm worse than the worst of the worst. He called himself a Pharisee, which he was. Now that's humility. And God gives grace to the humble, but he resists the proud. And so if you got a church, if you had a member of a church who's got a whole bunch of ministers and elders and they just sitting there watching one man do everything, man, there's no way. There is no way in hell I'm going to be a member of a church and one man is going to do all the teaching and the laying on the hands, micromanaging everything. No way. What'd he call you for? That's why there's no such thing as a bench member. I thought y'all said y'all got a gift. I thought y'all said y'all saved. Y'all told me y'all was saved, right? Well, I thought y'all had a gift. If you're saved, you got a gift. The Holy Spirit gives a gift to you as he feels, as he wills. So if you got a gift, how did you become a laity or a bench member? I'll never understand that. Never understand that. Not me. No, when I'm going to open my mouth, I'm going to do something. If I'm a part of the ecclesia, you're going to find me doing something. I'm going to operate in my gift. All these men sitting on the front row or in the pulpit, and one guy come up every known as, who was that? Never would have made it. Who was his name? Y'all saw that sermon where he said, hey, if you are a minister here, you are elder here. He said, this is my mic. And if you think that you're going to have an opportunity to come, he said, no. No. So he basically said, this is my house. Y'all remember that? And I had a mixed emotion about that, because the second part of what he said was true. Kim, thank you, Kim, Marvin Sapp. The second part of what he said was true. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to do all kind of ministry you want. That part right there, he was right. Because how are you called and then the only time you're going to work is on a Sunday? What company hires you and say, well, you're only going to work one day? Well, you ain't going to make much money. You ain't going to make much money. You just work on a Monday. Now you got to pay your rent, your mortgage, your lights and gas and insurance, all that stuff. No. That's how we are with our churches. We work on a Sunday, if you clergy folks, and then all through the week, what are you doing? Nothing. Please. I'm not gonna sit on a Sunday and let one guy tell me, this mic here, this mine. That's ridiculous. So many storefronts were started. That's true, Michael Witherspoon. Yep, the organization structure of the church was wrong. Yep, ministers and elders competed to preach. When it didn't happen, they started a church. Witherspoon, I can't tell you how many times I was sitting in the church. I was invited to a church on Chicago Avenue on the west side. You know that there's a church on every other corner. And midway in the corner, in the middle of the block, there's the church here, and there's a church right here, and they are sharing the same wall, the same divider. And I remember being in the church on the west side, on Chicago Avenue, and we in there having church and singing and playing our instruments, and the church next door sent somebody over and say, can you turn the music down? My pastor trying to preach. So we got to turn the music down so his pastor can preach. And then as this pastor preaching, now this man is preaching, he got to turn his up. Now we got to hear him preach. That's how close the churches was. Never coming together to try to figure out what we can do with the neighborhood. No. Sunday was a time for competition, Witherspoon. And then throughout the week, if there's not a Bible study, especially, those churches are locked all week long. Don't even have a feeding program. Everybody wants to build their house. Everybody wants their own church. And this is why I got so upset with y'all when y'all came together and raising all that money for a political party, for Kamala, and black folks came together and raised millions of dollars. First the women did, then the next day the men did, and you couldn't get a piece of cheese out of these same people. You wouldn't see those same people at a feeding program. You wouldn't see those same people at the orphanage, praying for the sick at the hospitals. You would not see those same people given to the college fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. You wouldn't see these same people sending any money into some college kid who's got expensive books and no. But what did they do? They put all that millions of dollars into a political candidate who lost. Now you got all that money stored up there for what? I don't know, for whatever. And then you fighting because the migrants are here. Well, we need our money. We need this. The city ain't giving us nothing, and these migrants are here and they're getting all this money. Fool, what are you doing? You gave all your money to the political party, and now you're crying because the migrants are here taking up this little spot, and that spot has been vacant for years. Go over there at 115th. And Halsted. There's a July school that's been closed for over 20 years, 25 years, closed for 25 years, all that land. And as soon as the city said, we're going to do something with this land for the migrants, then black folks went down to the city hall. I said, you all are fools. You didn't do nothing with this land. Nothing. All you black folk up in here. So y'all need to miss me with all this chatter. All this stuff is nonsense and noise to me. I didn't care who was going to win. Now, I'm on my soapbox, so the rest of y'all can leave now. This is between me and the bunkers. I don't care who was going to win. I was going to make some money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Donald Trump was talking about Bitcoin and all this stuff. I said, you know what? I didn't vote for him, but if he gets in, I'm going to make some money on him. Why? Because I'm going to always make lemonade with lemon. And he's a lemon. And I'm going to make the sweetest lemonade I ever have. right now is the best time to be in the market. Y'all understand? I'm not doing a commercial right now, but I'm about to put up my stuff here. You can go there if you want to. Now, I don't care. But right now, the wealth transfer is getting ready to happen under the Donald Trump administration. One of the greatest times to get out of debt, one of the greatest times in history is right now. And if you ain't preparing for that right now, you're going to miss out. And then when all this stuff started happening 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to try to jump in and you can't afford to get in. Then you're going to be like, okay, we need to find out what's going to happen the next 4 years. Well, boo-boo, you had every opportunity. We cried. We sent homing pigeons. We blew our horns. We sent messengers. We did we screamed and we yelled and we cooed, all these things. And you're like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Nope, I'm not ready. It was during the pandemic when I got out of debt. That monster came over here and was killing folks, and it came and sat in my lap and shut down. I got one kidney, y'all. So I have a pre-existing condition. I have one kidney because I gave one away. All right, because a guy was dying, so I gave him my kidney. So I have to be careful about my health, because when I went to the doctor, the man says, all right, your kidney, I saw something on your kidney. Made me just a little nervous. And he says, well, we're going to do some more tests. And then I came back and he said, okay, you need to drink a little more water. You ain't got but one kidney left. All right, so all these things was happening. So when COVID hit me, it almost killed me. It scared my family, and it scared a whole bunch of y'all. All right. But let me tell you, after I got well, I got myself up, I brushed myself off, and I cut corners. I cut some of y'all's friendships. I cut all those expenses out. I got rid of that. I don't need this. I got rid of all these subscriptions that y'all got on these streams. So I got rid of this. I got rid of that. And I went hard and heavy. I began to write. I began to stream. I began to just create something for me, because listen, it's the time when people are crying and weeping and in sorrow. More millionaires was made during a bear market. A stock market crash is an opportunity for millionaires. Do you understand? So instead of crying because something happened or somebody won, look at that as an opportunity where God is getting ready to use you to evangelize. At the same time, God is getting ready to pay all your bills. Why? Because he's going to give you the wisdom and show you what to do when the world is crying. And I look at right now, we might be feeling like we're in Egypt. No problem, because the Jews might have been in Egypt, but they was also in Goshen. And while the Egyptians were boiling their children and in the famine, God was blessing where the children of Israel lived, which was Goshen, and they had plenty. Do you understand? So I could care less about the hard taskmaster who's getting ready to sit in the White House. That hard taskmaster, I'm going to put me a jar right here, and I'm going to put his lemons in there, and I'm going to get me some sugar, and I'm going to stir this up, and me and my family going to be all right. You understand? Go to patreon.com, the Sirwalterj Jones Show, and you can go into the finance room and see what I'm talking about. Other than that, I could care less about the stress that y'all putting on yourselves in the comment section, in the chats. I could care less when I see those comments and I say, Psalms chapter 1 and chapter 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of this earth set themselves against the Lord and his anointed. And God is in heaven laughing, holding you in derision. He is cracking up at you all who are attacking folks like me. He and I laugh. I laugh with him. And he says, son, they're supposed to do that. Because if a fool says in his heart there's no God, Then there are those who believe there is a God, and they're foolish too. Vain. All is vain. Wasting their times doing religious stuff, and they've been indoctrinated. They go to the church and they get an indoctrination jab. And then all through the week, they go and follow these YouTubers, and they go in the chats and act a fool all week long. And when something comes down the wire, in many cases, they come back and say, Brother Jones, I was wrong. Because you didn't let me do what I wanted to do. I was wrong. I can't tell you how many people done come back and said, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I wanted to attack you. I wanted to destroy your name. There was a woman who came on the show. I played the piano on Wednesday. I was doing my evening manner, and in the comment section, there was a woman talking about some, thank you for that ride you and I took to South Dakota. She didn't even say South Dakota. She says Dakotas. I don't even call it Dakota. I call it South Dakota. So I know she was an idiot. And then she was talking about and then we went down there to Memphis a couple weeks ago, and all this. I wanted to ask her so bad. All right, what hotel did we stay at the Dakotas? And then what hotel did we stay at in Memphis? I wanted to ask her all these questions so that I can get it on record and then show y'all some of my receipts. And then the Lord says, why? Why? You're wasting your time. Just block her and keep preaching the gospel. You're wasting your time. Some of y'all might have seen her in the comment section. But the bunkers are smarter than that. They know. They know. Because I was on the show on Tuesday, and then I was in Memphis on Wednesday doing a live. Y'all remember that? I did my live in Memphis from the hotel the next day. And I'm trying to figure out, how was I able to drive from Chicago 14 hours to South Dakota and then turn around and drive another day to Memphis, yet the next day be at my hotel in Memphis doing a show with the bunkers saying, hey, how you doing? She didn't calculate that. She didn't calculate that great. She didn't calculate. All right. So I'm done. I'm 52 minutes in. I said a few minutes, but as y'all know, I'm a false prophet. I think we had about 1,500 people here. Did we break a record? No, we didn't break a record. We've had a couple thousand before. So we good. Listen, pray for that man and pray for that church. Let that be a lesson to all of you, all right? While you're letting that be a lesson to you all, if you got a male pastor especially, talk to him, all right? Talk to the first lady. Encourage them, because y'all are just allowing them to kill themselves. Y'all just allowing this stuff. You ain't got it bad. That's Venzel. That little spirit got it bad. Take care of your leaders. If you decide you're going to have a pastor, pray for them and ask them the hard questions. Just ask them hard questions. Hey, are you eating good? What are you eating? What's your intake? What's your water intake? When the last time you've been in the hospital, the doctor, blah, blah, blah. All right? If you're going to have one, ask them. And because y'all, the bunkers did it for me. The bunkers was worried about me. And we called my community the bunkers. Long story, don't worry about it. They were worried about me. All right? And I cleaned up my act right in front of them, all the way down to my teeth. These here that God gave me, if you look at my earlier shows, my teeth was all over the place. And I had tartar everywhere. It was bad because I wasn't taking care of my dental health. Because I was too busy doing stuff and trying to do this and paying bills and doing all kind of stuff. And I wouldn't take care of my teeth. And the bunkers watched me over the years put thousands of dollars to fix this, because what was happening was, because I wasn't taking care of this was at stake. Because I began to research on dental health And all kind of stuff could happen without proper dental health. Even your eyes. People have gone blind. Bad gums and all kind of stuff sitting there. And right before y'all, I can smile like this now. Hey, y'all all right? Y'all know these mine, right? These is mine. These not dentures, these are mine. Right in front of y'all. I had to do it because I wanted these wives to see. All right, you know what? Elder Jones is doing this. Husband. And I bought my bikes in front of y'all. I went to the gym in front of y'all. I went to the hospital, told y'all about my medical appointments. Right in front of my community, I was doing it. The bunkers was right here. My health was getting better to the point where the bunkers who've been with me for 10 years. I started this show 10 years. This is my 10th year anniversary. We just had our little anniversary thing. The bunkers who've been with me for 10 years, they often say, you look younger now than you did 10 years ago on the show. And I thank God for that knowledge. So, y'all, I plan on getting older younger. You understand? I'm going in this world backwards. I dress better. My skin is clear. My hair is refined. Come on, y'all. I did that in front of y'all. It's important. Come on, Kim Edwards says truth about dental disease. She says, I'm a RDH. See, I got a testimony right here. So now when I go to get my dental cleaning, which is every 3 months, I go there and my dentist say the same thing. Mr. Jones, you're doing a great job. Because I had that periodontal disease where I was losing bone structure. And my dentist says, you know what? You haven't lost since you've been coming here. For the past couple years, you haven't lost. You keep flossing, you keep doing what you're doing, because whatever you're doing it. And like, listen, I got to because the bunkers keep picking on me. So I got to stay healthy in front of them. So God, I thank you for your blessings and your love, and thank you for T.D. Jakes' health. For him, he's still alive. It could have been one shocking news report if that man had died right before our eyes. But thank you, God, for keeping him alive. And give his people some wisdom, his family wisdom on what to do, that he might eat right, drink, rest, and seek your face a little bit more on what to do. Because millions of people are watching him. They consider him America's pastor, or one of them. And that is a role I would never want, ever. But because he's got all those people watching him, I pray for his health. And I really pray for his mind. I pray for his spirit. That whatever he's teaching wrong, God, clean him up, straighten him out, because so many people are at stake. So we love you, God. We thank you for the people who are here. Thank you for giving us the help that we have. We can do better. We love you in Jesus' name. Thank God. Amen. Go to patreon.com, Sirwalterj Jones Show. Go over there and hang out. It's movie night at 9:15. See y'all tomorrow.
The 4 Women That Men Desire by Sirwalterj Jones is a women's guide to men. The author's endeavor to expose men fundamentally with his perspective on the types of women that men truly desire. He has meticulously penned a brilliant and controversial read, bold in its assertion that all women fall into one of 4 categories. Girl A, the side chick. Girl B, the mistress, Girl C, his soulmate, or Girl D, his fatal attraction. And when a woman walks into a room, her category is showing. The 4 Women That Men Desire is funny, informative, and enlightening. It is a quick read and a must-have for your library. Head over to Amazon.com for your copy.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.